So you're saying it's the US pulling the strings, it's the US saying let's test Iran out, and it's not Israel being a belligerent child, so to speak. And
Israel is a belligerent child, but I'm saying Israel is unable to do what it does without orders from the US and without permission from the US. So yes, I do think the US has a global strategy. Israel is part of that strategy. Israel agrees with that strategy because it is there to execute such a strategy. It was placed there by the British initially and by the European powers precisely to be a proxy for their colonial policies in the 1950s and 60s. We saw that when the British and the French insisted on Israeli help in launching a war against Egypt in 1956 so that they can go in and invade Egypt to prevent the nationalization of the Suez Canal. That was a very important role for Israel in 56. The Israelis were also instrumental, as I mentioned at the beginning of this interview, in helping the royalist forces in Yemen, along with other pro-imperial forces, fight against the Republican forces in the 1960s. So Israel had an important role to play for the British and for the French in the 50s and 60s, and for the Americans after 1967 as a proxy for imperial and neocolonial policies. So yes, does it have its own opinions, its own, exaggerated aggressions that the U.S. may not want to go as far as Israel wants? I'm sure it does. Like, can it get away with doing all these things without American approval or permission, or even the Americans making the decision first? I think that is not necessarily possible, even if on occasions Israel may sort of exaggerate the charge it was given by the US. It is sort of held back soon after by the US to within what US strategists have defined for.